planted.
What's good, everyone? Welcome to episode 30 of SpikeTalk. We're pumping these out like crazy this week for kickoff. We're starting the new year hot. And, of course, I'm your host, Baby Bay. We got Frost, and we got two special guests, Vans Millions, Vansilli, of course, and then Powerpixele. What is going on? How is everyone doing? Thank you guys for taking the time, honestly.
After you, Powerpixele, I'm going to let you go first.
I'm doing good. Happy nice holidays. Get to look forward to a new year, and not only that, kickoff. Yeah. Today's talk.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat, actually. I'm quite excited for kickoff to finally start. I'm also happy that the off season was like there were still a lot of things that were happening until like the end of November. So we only had like a real break in December, and then got some quality family quality time, and then just getting ready to go back on the grind here this year. It's gonna be fun.
I'm gonna be honest, like having my first off season be like not considering pro play was so awkward, bro. I didn't know what to do. I had like a whole month where like I was like, okay, I guess I'll just go to the gym like every day, but then I ended up not even doing that. So it was like, so it was like, nah, like I was just losing my mind for like a whole month. I was like, what do I do?
What's the schedule now? What's your routine?
Well, now I'm streaming Marvel Rivals, so I mean,
I haven't seen that.
Been consuming my life, which has been awesome. But I mean, this is a Valorant podcast, so I mean,
so I'm saying my Baby Bay San Francisco Shock upper deck card is bringing up in value because Baby Bay streaming some fucking Marvel Rivals.
Right? Have you guys been playing Marvel Rivals at all? Before we
nope.
Get some Valorant?
Play like 2 games.
Look at you, even Frost. Look at Frost shaking his head in the corner over there, bro. What a scumbag, bro.
Yeah, me and Jovi. So we're diamond over here. So
we're diamond over here. Damn.
I think the aim is still true. Like basically everything about Valorant is the same. The aim is still like, bro. These guys will just insta dink you. It's like it's insane. Yeah. But up here, it's not the same. Like Jovi was telling me that in his opinion. Because I believe he was GM in NA. He's like, I think GM's harder because the players there are just way smarter. They know when to flank. They know how to flank. They know.
There's also like picks and bans and stuff too. So limits like you can't.
Yeah, but all the picks and bans are pretty much the same, bro. It's like back then it was hella Hawkeye.
Yo,
you know what
are
I'm
we
saying?
ready for that in Valorant? Picks and bans?
Oh, boy, I've been ready since the game came out. I thought that shit would come out in release.
I thought that shit would come out.
They're briefing, bro.
There's actually a pretty cool concept with that coming out recently. If you haven't been paying attention, like with the NA, there's MFH who Mr. Fun Abbott.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
He's gonna run a tournament called Mad Science, and it's gonna be a pick ban tournament where both teams will have to run the same comp on the map. I find that very interesting, where you have to do pick bans and run same comp on the same map.
That's
interesting.
Sick.
Yeah,
I wouldn't necessarily do it that way, but I guess he's probably thinking that there's not enough agents to make it like really competitive. So that's very curious. I'm curious to see how that works. But yeah, if we were in NA, I would have liked to have participated in that for sure.
Because it reminds me of the Knights Freeze Out tournament, because he said it even in the post. Sorry to cut you off, baby.
No, you're good. You're good.
No, we do that here all the time. Fuck
don't worry. Just keep going. Like, don't worry about cutting me off. Finish your
Tell us off too.
Speaking of chest.
Look at me talking like I'm part of the podcast, like a regular. Yeah, just talk over us. It's not.
No. You should have seen.
Please
Sue
interrupt, Hector.
When Sue was on here, Sue was killing it. It was crazy, and I came on late because I had to stay up all night, knowing if the fires were gonna come out or not. It was crazy, so I didn't wake up on time. But when I did come in, I was like, damn, Sue is doing my job way better than me.
No, she's good, bro.
She's
like,
insane.
I'm stronger than her, so she wasn't the boss of me.
I don't know, bro.
I was kind of scared of her, though. So straight up.
I feel like Yinsu would be the one that just.
I didn't want to challenge it.
Like sneaks up on you, gets you with the dagger, you know, when you least expect.
Oh hell yeah,
100%.
All right, but anyways, let's talk about some Valorant. All right, let's talk about some Valorant.
Fine.
We got to fuck around a little bit. I think this is interesting to me because this is very weird and unprecedented. Now, for the first time ever, you're going to have 2 imports playing on the same team. So you have Oderus, who's standing in for Apex. Obviously, you have Floor on there as well. But now, is this not just like a complete breach of everything that VCT has been saying from the start, where you can only have one import?
Yeah.
You know, like this is exactly like they're just.
No.
I was gonna ask you guys because I did like a EMEA prediction, whatever, pick'ems, and I was like, I wonder how the rules will work because Florescent comes in from NA. She doesn't have like, if anything, on VLR the flags even Vietnamese, which is dope. Viet Pride,
but that is dope. I saw that too, but I was like, hold up though. I was like, hold up.
Yeah, I'm gonna be all over that for sure. But then that's the question. It's like, well, if oderus is gonna be standing in, then what? Then technically, one of them shouldn't be playing because of that issue. But I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, and I don't have the ins to be able to explain that. So I was hoping.
Could someone explain to me how oderus ends up on Apex anyway? Because I just have. I'm just so shocked at what happened at Moist. What's happening now?
I can speak on that actually. On
please.
Both subjects.
Yeah.
As a former GC player, we were told this, by the way. If any of us were ever to make it to VCT franchising or just in general, you know how during, there's a lot of people in GC who are actually do not count as an import slot. You do not count as an import slot as a GC player. So there's a loophole. That's a loophole.
I didn't know that.
You can, because I was actually asked to go to China at one point, and I would not be considered as an import slot if I went to China.
Sick.
As a GC player.
Respect.
I didn't go with it because the fact that while I do love China and the scene and everything like that, I would like to stay home. And not only that, I was going to continue with EG, or at the time I thought I was going to continue with EG, and had fun with that. But I remember being told about that fact even way back when, like during 2022, even like that was a reality for people that you could, in theory, be a loophole as an import slot. You can go anywhere you want.
Okay,
that's actually dope.
Thank you for
as for oderus,
because we had absolutely no idea.
As for oderus, I can kind of speak on that as well. I think oderus is a very good coach, but not only that, like staff member, but also player. I played against him and scrimmed him when I was on EG and even on Passion Project as a player when he was on Moist. I thought he was pretty good in scrims. He was actually doing pretty good numbers, positioning and etc. that he did was actually good. And for how he ends up on Apex, it's because of the champs run.
I was gonna say, yeah.
He ends up working with Effie as the assistant coach and helping a lot of the SRGC team go on their run and claim the second title, which gives you a lot of credit. And not only that, the people on Moist and MXS really did like the guy. And I think he was a good guy as well. I think a lot of the ideas from what I've been told that he brings to the table is pretty valid and not only that, innovative at times. So I understand why he would go to Apex. I'm obviously very surprised that he would end up on stage for the first game. I don't think anyone would have expected that, but I think he'll do fine. And I think Ava will do fine as well, because at the end of the day, I think they've been playing this game since beta and they understand it and they've gotten this far. And who's to say that they can't go further?
Would it be at the same level of like, what if Fraud had to play for like MIBR? Would it be the same thing? Or like, or do you think oderus could like really frag out?
No, oderus can flag out.
Oderus is good.
No,
of course, but I'm
Fraud.
I'm just talking about rustiness. I'm just talking about rustiness. He hasn't played for a bit, and then what's
that's
my
going to argument.
Yeah.
I do have to say though, like oderus, the case of oderus needs to be studied because this guy has somehow managed to go from coach to player like twice in a row now, and I just feel like, what am I doing wrong, bro? You know what I mean? Like how is this guy doing this? Like, I swear.
You got to start IGLing, bro. That's the issue, right? Because I think at some point when you kind of need, he could start IGLing on the fly too, going into a roster. So,
but even in tier 2, when oderus was playing for Moist, like Net was available, and I was just like, I just feel like Net would have been so much better for that specific team just because of like the chemistry that he had with already Vic and Faya beforehand. So even like oderus playing in there, and I got to talk to Mata about it too, basically saying that it's nice to have like your coach in that slot because it does help out with the IGLing role. But I just feel like, I don't know. I would personally, I don't think I would ever play with my coach. Whatever it was. But maybe that's just an ego thing.
I'll concede because Power probably has more relevant info. But back to your point about playing him for, I remember what it was like to play against on 100 Thieves. And I know what it was like to play against him with Nearest Airport, with Governor before, obviously, he came to Talon. I'm in franchise now. Small example, Power. I have great respect for you. You might be somewhere maybe 5 to 15 in terms of like, I need a fast sub. You know what I mean? Like in APAC. And it has nothing to do with you. It's just I know the level here. I know kind of what more of a pressing need I would have. And I don't think it's like disrespectful to say that like I thought there were many other EMEA players that are not in franchise that I would have assumed Apex would have gone after instead of oderus. So I'm very surprised. But hearing what you said, sure. I think somebody definitely might value it in the same way, and that's fine. I was just like, what?
I will also speak on the people who don't make franchising in the EMEA. The Polaris and all these series in VCL, there are orgs that do give about as good HX from what I've been told before as some of the franchise rosters, which like for each specific VCL area, because from what I have been told before by a couple strange people, is the fact that there are certain rosters that you'll see in each section of the VCL of EMEA that are stacked to win that area, to make it to Ascension no matter what.
Right.
So it's like, would you rather go risk your career for 2 years with Apex, or B, would you go qualify for Ascension, if not make Ascension, right? Just the main tournament with your squadron for about a year and just practice whatever you need to do. You know, work on, hone on whatever you need to do for a year and come back, right? And be God's gift and be ready to sign.
Yeah. Well, if you put it like that, I'll still take the risk for 2 years. The problem is it's not actually 2 years. That's the thing. It's like, would you rather be a add-on to what they had, and if it doesn't work, you're going to be scapegoated, or would you rather do it with your people and then make yourself more valuable, hopefully invaluable when they make it? I think when it's phrased that way, I can understand why players wouldn't jump ship.
The other part as well is like staff. I think staff matters quite a bit. Some people want to work with certain people because of the fact that they might see staff members in tier 2 or even tier 1 that will lead to their growth more than like anyone else in their time. As I know for me, in my time, I have a lot of respect for staff just in general, because a lot of the time I did choose certain staff members or work with certain people because of the fact that I knew more than anything, grinding at 10 more hours of ranked would not be as more valuable as talking or just discussing or just debating with this person for about 10 hours.
Yeah, that I agree.
That's invaluable.
Sure. Yeah.
I just think it's something also very simple for Apex to have oderus come in as just like logistic wise, right? Because they've been working for the longest time for Visa to try to get their 5th player in, which rumored to be a Turkish player. But at the same time, if they can't get it, and we know how expensive visas could be, and we know how, money could be tight these days in esports, and the turnaround to try to get another person in and try to get a visa on time when you already have oderus in there. And now that you mentioned it like Floor, it has a loophole where she's not considered an import, so it gives an opportunity now for just oderus to come through. And I think with him as a coach, he's already got the tactics, laid down for the team, so he knows what he has to do. He knows what shoes he's gonna have to fill for whatever map. And then if it's gonna have to be like initiator or just bring in some Tejo, then it's going to be simple enough, because Tejo brings enough of an argument to say, like, you don't need to, like even if the ping system doesn't exist anymore, I don't have to, like, look around the map. I just pull out the iPad, boom, boom, and let's execute. It's all good, So it's fine. I think they'll be good.
I'd love to see oderus on controller.
As well.
When he played in NA, I remember him being a really good Astra. And with the Astra buffs coming in for like the season, even though Clove exists and Tejo exists, I'd love to see him just like on Astra, just getting to play his own game. I think that'd be really nice.
I'm most excited to see Floor just dominate. I think everyone is saying, I think not everyone, but there's a lot of misconceptions that Floor is gonna like overheat a fuck ton and et cetera. But like, I played against Floor for forever, in scrims, and she would dominate me, bro. Like, she would dominate me, yo. And I remember, like,
she's dominating right now.
The funniest thing is like we would type back and forth to each other, and every single time she would always be like, "You're so much better than me," and I'm like, "What do you mean? You're dropping 30 on me? I'm sitting here at 10. I'm sitting here at 10 kills against you in this scrim. No, you're better than me. Like, I don't know how you're so good. Like." The fact that she's so humble too is what's like really cool and unique about her.
And the overheat thing at GCC, it didn't happen too much either, right? It was like,
Right.
I think maybe last year you would have seen maybe moments where she would be over aggressive. But I mean, at this point, she's super confident with it. She's hitting her shots. She's, feeling herself whenever she's in the server. If she wants to overheat, she could overheat. She can kind of be like Sim over at TSM, but still drop like 4 kills before she dies. It's all good, But there is that big question mark of what it's going to look like against, a top tier 1 team going into the VCTs. But I do not think she's the type of player that gets flustered or intimidated by who she has to play against, and it'll be just fine. Yeah.
Agree. Okay, so up next, speaking of contracts, apparently Cloud9 hasn't. Apparently, they allegedly don't get a cut from the bundle sales in their contracts, which is like, I don't know if that's a rumor. Is that
I'm
confirmed?
not surprised by that.
Hector, you know these things. What's going on?
That is so insane. That is so insane because on top of the stuff that we already hear about the contracts on Cloud9, like this is just like
many orgs do that. Many orgs in NA. I have been on them, so I will just say that most of the time it's you have to negotiate these things beforehand, and you have to stand firm, and you have to potentially risk your spot for being too expensive, or whatever, a la Vanity's previous issue, Ye's previous issue. I'll say it's not, I don't know. It's easy for me to jump on C9, but there are many others. So if that's the case, then it's not a C9 issue. It's just the players maybe broke an NDA, and they're probably going to get a fine for this. It can be 500, could be 2,500, depending on how much or how problematic they thought it was. But yeah, I mean, this is just the nature of the business. You have to negotiate what you can, and you know.
It's just unfortunate because C9, like they were number 4 in the bundle sales, which I was kind of thrown back by a bit. I was like, damn, we got that many C9 fans. But I guess the branding of C9 in general is really that good,
right?
Like,
do you mind if I ask a question real quick?
Sure.
Does everyone know what the VPA is? The Valorant Player Association?
Yeah, that's the thing with Taylor
I've heard
and everything,
of
right?
it, but I don't know. Yeah.
Or did you get offered in there or anything like that, or no?
I think I did, like a while ago, like when I was playing.
Yeah, one of the things that I've kind of always wondered about that is the idea of like if this was a big enough issue, if the VPA, since it is all the agents collectively and like franchising tier 2 and like GC as well, it's included. They could probably fight for this case actually. Like unironically, all players, if they took a stance as a union, technically speaking, or agents take it as a union, they could fight for everyone to have a cut of the skin bundles and like make that a standard.
Yeah, for playing devil's advocate is it's signed already, right? If it was in their contract that, and I don't know, I only get to see it, but if it's in the contract that they're not getting any cut from the bundle sales and they signed it, then the issue unfortunately is on the player or for the agent as well that didn't represent them well enough, and as Hector said, stood their ground for it. But on the brighter side of things, because it's always a business and I'm always trying to win towards the end, if it does become that I'm a C9 player and that I don't get a cut from bundle sales, I would still want to represent the org and try to do those bundle sales, because we talk about performances not only in a server, but performances as an employee, if you're looking at as a corporation or for a spot to come through, right? So if you are going to be a marketable player, then hopefully that's going to tick boxes for you to continue your contract within the organization for the next season. Now, I'm just trying to play the game in the long run if I've already lost in a certain spot, and how can I win this back? I wouldn't necessarily be in a position where I want to be angry of the position I'm in right now because I'm not getting a cut. I'm still here, I'm still playing, and Emmy freaking DM'd me while I was in, or whispered me while I was in game to buy the C9 bundle. So I don't know if they're actually getting a cut or not. So it's all he said, she said kind of thing. But at the same time, if it is kind of true, I think I would still want to represent the organization and not be sour about the issue, because I still want to get a spot to continue to play. I already have the great opportunity to play on the stage personally, so why not?
Hey. Yeah, that's actually facts, right? It's like at least I'm in the league and getting paid to play video games, which is quite nice.
I think the Players Association in every game, it's just so weird. And me and Blade have talked about this too. Like, it's so funny that like the Players Association is the Players Association, but there's like nothing for coaches. And the grand irony is what you end up doing. No, it sounds funny, but like, and then what you end
that's
up
pretty
doing
bad.
is
That's bad.
now you start putting coaches and players against each other. Because then coaches end up siding with the orgs, and oftentimes coaches, like me, for instance, at the moment, I have the say to basically go, yeah, I'd rather pick up Baby Bay for governor or something. Like if I really push for it, right? So now it's like this weird.
The coach is now
it's
pitted
this
against
weird
the
juxtaposition
agents
here,
and
where,
the
like now you're
players, yeah.
splitting teams apart. Because this happened on FURIA, by the way, which was they didn't speak English well. And Taylor was insistent on having them. So I said, okay, speak to Carlisle. And Carlisle was like the guy that could do both. He can speak to them. He can speak to Taylor in English and then
Speak Portuguese and English.
Yeah.
Translate,
And then it was like a massive problem because he was like, no, we don't want coaches. It's like, but sometimes the players, either trust the coach or need the coach to do X, Y, or Z for them. Because what you're really asking is, can you get me in touch with management at FURIA who's just going to be like, no. So So it's like I kind of feel like in both CS, well, just in general, it seems like we put the cart before horse because getting in the middle of a team isn't actually what you want to do, but it's often what they end up doing arbitrarily, and it's just kind of like strange. I've always thought that was just very strange.
Yeah, but how much of bundle sales should be a part of the VPA's responsibility, anyways, right? Like for me, if I'm thinking about a players' association, I'm thinking that players should have quality of life whenever they're playing on stage. They should have the right hardware. They should have the right internet, whatever. When they're playing on Masters and boot camp is going to be good, whatever. They're supposed to work with Riot or whatever it's going to be. Let's say it's CS because there is also the CSPA, right? So it's going to be very similar. Talk with the TOs to make sure that the player is going to be in a good spot to be able to compete and not be hindered in those moments where they could face, all the odds against them. Like if they have to play on Wi-Fi at like 18,000 packet loss and never get good practice going into a major, then that is an issue that the Players Association has to talk about with the organization. But when it comes down to I signed a contract, I didn't read it carefully, and I'm not getting any amount out of the bundle sales, then unfortunately, I think it's more on the player and themselves than VPA needing to step in. I hope they do. At the end of the day, I hope they get their money. And if they don't, hopefully next year.
Let's bring up the VPA in specific because they are probably one of the most. An agent for a player is probably one of the most important people for a contract to happen, in my experience. I remember being walked up by a lot of agencies and people just in general saying, hey, can I become your agent, stuff like that. I know for me, I took a very odd route, which was to go through an actual esports lawyer to look over my contract work. I would pay him about $200, $100. We look over it, say, here, change this, ask your order to do this, right? And he would not take a cut from there. It's flat, $100, $200, and he'd fix the contract for me.
Yeah.
And I say that in the aspect because I know a lot of agents take cuts monthly from the salaries, if not the earnings of the player, which is the only reason why I bring up the actual bundle, because this would actually be a part of how much they get a cut of, possibly. The player, but also the agents.
Route.
Yeah. And that's why it has to be talked about during negotiations, right? If the agent wants to look out for themselves too, if they're supposed to get a cut, then they should have represented the player well enough and themselves well enough so that they're going to be able to argue with the organization that they could get that portion of the bundle sales.
Yeah, which is the only reason.
Intricate. It's probably a situation too where like sometimes you negotiate, like you have to decide what matters the most to you. So sometimes because you don't know how many bundle sales will sell, you would still fight to take less from that or none of that, but more upfront salary. And there is in the case that Baby Bay mentioned, maybe Cloud, if they did, they would have made more money than the upfront that they would have gotten or that they got had they gone because they sold fourth best in the league. You need to ask their CPA for like the specifics, the org CPA to like find out if it would have worked. But in general, like sometimes you also take a risk, like. Without getting too much into the details, there are some people that have to negotiate like how much percentage they get from the money they get from champs and like the bundle of champs and stuff. And it's sometimes as low as like 2%. I've seen it as high as 12% in the league. Right? So, but that's a fucking massive difference. Like, I mean, astronomical difference when you actually put the pen to paper. And yeah, some people would rather take higher upfront salary, lower champs money. Right? Like, it's also like depending on, I guess, the value that or the risk that people would like.
Risk versus reward.
Yeah, for sure. So many different layers you could add. It could be from negotiation, from bundle sales, from regular. But if you could get a bonus structure, if you make it into champs that you're able to get, a portion of that as an org, then if we make it as a team and I'm a part of it, I want to get a percentage. So everything goes through negotiation. So you just got to present it well enough when you're handed these opportunities to get into the negotiation spots. It's just negotiations 101. You don't accept everything off the fly that's on the contract. Make sure you read it, and it never hurts to ask. And if you ask and you don't get it, then you fight for it, and then you see where you meet in the middle.
I was gonna say, bro, if I'm a C9 player, after seeing that I sold fourth, I'm definitely trying to put that shit in my contract. I'm like, yo, please.
I just asked these questions because I know that a lot of the C9 contracts are till 2027, if not 2029. So that could also be the trade-off. That could also be the trade-off.
That is
that could also be it,
bro. Right. Yeah. Anyway,
I only just bring it up because of the fact that like we
nice.
bring up the whole entire idea of negotiating and stuff like that. You could also negotiate time. You don't have to negotiate money at times or the upfront.
Right.
It could just be time in itself.
Trey, you think that's nice? You think that's nice to be locked in until 2029?
Me?
It's better than not being locked in.
Because Dre is saying, no, must be nice, but I'm like,
but
what if
you know
it's
what?
into 2029 but you're benched after 2 seasons? Or half a season?
Okay. But here's the deal, and this is how I'm assuming the contract is set up. If at any moment, if they want to get rid of you, which we've already seen didn't happen, I think let's go. And I think that's where that
it's definitely favored towards the org so heavily.
Yeah, like that one is like kind of insane. Like, okay, great. I have a 5-year contract.
And because
I have a 5-year contract that has no guarantee.
Yeah, and because T1
Like
and
what?
Wawa absolutely just pissed his pants and paid oh my god, fuck. There was a guaranteed contract in NA. I don't know why I'm forgetting.
Was it Brox?
No, not Brox.
Steel? Days?
I should know this. No. Opper.
Side player?
Won Boston. No, he won the Boston major on C9. No, not automatic. Not Tim.
Skadoodle?
I don't know why. Skadoodle. Stop.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
You said Boston major. I was like, automatic or Skadoodle? Has to be one.
Yeah. So Scott got a guaranteed contract, so was sitting on the bench for a whole fucking year, and now everyone that knows about it memes it. And now what ends up happening is now you can't even, like, if you're Oxy, you can't even fight, or I mean, you could, but like to fight for an automatic, or sorry, a guaranteed deal for X amount of years is going to be really fucking hard, given the fact that it's already happened and it blew up really badly in the face of the org. So it's like really complicated now. But
we don't know what
some
severance
players
is,
have
do we?
power, some players don't. Yeah. It just is what it is.
What'd you say, power? Sorry.
Does anyone know what the severance is? Like if they pay out the full contract, or if they give you a year?
Usually, it's if you even get one, it's usually 2 months, I believe.
Yeah, and most people don't even get one, bro. Trust me.
If you even get one. Yeah.
I just ask because like that could also be another loophole right there.
Yeah. Scary just retired. Frost probably has a lot to talk about this because that is a Thai player that he was kind of getting like berated with. Like everyone's like, yo, pick up Scary. And since you didn't pick him up, piece of shit, bro. Like now he's retired, bro. Like you just ruined this kid's life, bro. What's going on?
Nothing. I mean, he talks about having injuries and all this. So like he got to get healthy and all that. He also said like there's like a Thai scene decline, which I think is a tier 2 decline, not a Thai scene decline. Because talent-wise, I think
the Thai scene was insane.
Are pretty good.
The Made in Thailand team.
I was gonna say Made in Thailand was owning. No,
Made in Thailand was good.
The reason why we don't have a full Thai team really, it's because everyone's in contract jail till like forever. So I was like, okay, I need to put the best roster available. But it's not like we couldn't put together a Thai team that could compete. Oh no, we could. It's just unlucky that, $400,000 buyouts for players that have never played in Tier 1.
That's crazy, by the way. $400,000
Bro,
buyout
it
is crazy.
Insane work, bro. But anyways, back to Scary.
I would enjoy to see him on PSG.
Yeah,
I would really enjoy that.
He made a lot of money. He made a lot of money in his career. I'm sure he does not regret it because of the money. However, yeah, sometimes you make these choices. Like, he would have made less money, but he probably would have still been competing had he not left, let's say, Cruz. Right? So, unlucky. Cruz is still in the league. Cruz was supposed to have retired like 20 years ago. He hasn't. Unlucky. It's just how the cookie crumbles. But he made a lot of money. He was very successful. I'm sure when he turns into a streamer, he's going to be just as successful. For all I know, he's a very nice guy. Bilingual, so speaks a pretty decent amount of English. I think he's going to be fine. As for Baby Base Point, I'm sorry, but unlucky.
I'm sorry, bro. I'm
sorry.
Unlucko, bro.
Yep. Another unlucko bucko is and this is rumors, it's not 100% set, but FURIA might have to play they might have to play with stand-ins basically in their first match. So
I'd be actually surprised about that.
Wait, that's a first for me. When did this happen?
There's a post about it like 4 hours ago.
There was a post on Reddit, and yeah,
we'll cut it if it ends up being Gigasus, but yeah, it was a non.
No. It's
it's apparent rumors, and
I was talking to Carla about it.
And you know what? Here's the thing, though, and obviously it would suck for FURIA, but I have to say, if you're 2G in this moment, considering every single match matters to the fullest extent because it's you're only
chilling
1 year.
Oh yeah,
this is like the best possible scenario.
For sure.
100%.
Now, I will say
if it's true, we don't know for sure.
I don't know. So I'm not going to give anyone free promotion. However, there is one woman, that's a hint, that does the P20 visas, like the athlete visas, and a bunch of stuff for a bunch of esports teams throughout the years. I remember trying to use her back when I was GM of FURIA, and she was too expensive. And from what I gather, this was the person that they used didn't quite understand all the things that needed to happen, right?
That's what it said.
Person.
That's what it said in the post.
No, the new person.
Yeah.
No. I'm saying when I was at FURIA, I tried to have somebody deal with our visas, and it was too expensive. And then Carlisle was in Brazil for 4 weeks, 6 weeks, which then turned into stupid shit between me and Carlisle. Again, this is happening now. I think, 1 year, 2 years removed? 2 years removed.
2 years, yeah.
Now they have another visa issue. Now, I will admit, visas to North America from Brazil is not exactly the easiest, so obviously they deserve...
Every region right now is having problems.
Right,
Like
the
some
credit
teams are
of
having
knowing-
problems with visas.
Benefit
I'm
of the
just
doubt
going-
is what you're looking for.
Right. Yes, the benefit of the doubt. I'm just going to state that there was someone that I know has done from League of Legends, Counter-Strike, has a ton of experience, and she was too expensive. And now, from what it seems like, their agent, unfortunately, maybe mischaracterized some things that...
Miss Y.
Yeah. So all I'm saying is I'm not surprised what company is the one that has this problem because I was there when that happened also. However...
It was your fault, bro.
Of course. Always is. However, I will just state that this is why it's important to seek out the best in the industry and not be cheap all the time. I'm not accusing FURIA of being cheap. I'm just mainly generalizing and saying that when it comes to this stuff, if it matters that much, maybe you shouldn't haggle over a couple $1,000s.
Yep. I
Maybe.
totally agree with that.
Maybe.
Because I'm an example as well of trying to get a visa or having to renew my visa this year actually to get into LA to Cast Americas. And my fees are not, they are fairly expensive, but they are definitely worth it, right? And if I get that visa, it's good for 3 years. So it's an investment that you have for yourself for 3 years So it's worth it. Just divide it in the copium way in like 12 months, 12 months, 3 to 6 months. Every month is going to cost this much only. Good enough. And I get to have a career. I get to play. I think it's worth it for you to invest to make sure that you guarantee, the visa in your favor. But the other thing is even though whoever that you pay, expensive or not, for example, when I did my visa renewal, it was... I was mentioned that it was going to be taken care of by one of two spots, or it's by California state or by the state of Vermont. And if it's by the state of Vermont, then it's only going to be, let's say, roughly 8 to 16 weeks. But if it's being taken care of by the state of California, it could take up to 9 months. So sometimes you get very unlucky, and I also got very unlucky because I actually fell under the California state. So I had to pay even more just to try to expedite the processes so I could get my my visa on time. So sometimes it doesn't matter who you pay. It's also who takes care on the American side of like who's approving these visas on that front. So you could be very unlucky for FURIA in that sense too. But dude, as you're mentioning this, Dre, I'm also seeing like read more. Valorant crew experiences visa issues. Are they also have issues going in?
It's crazy right now. I might have to sub in.
Now, I will also say this. I'm
gonna be casting. I'm gonna cast and then
I'll
walk
also
down
say
the
this.
stage.
This is a very important detail.
Go ahead.
I know at Talon we were pissed off because Riot did not help us this year with any visa situations with the Thai boys and all the others. And we found out that other teams, I don't want to mention them because I don't know if I have permission, but other teams that we're kind of cool with here also said the same thing.
Oh, same thing.
Right?
Well, at least they're
Secret's
consistent.
having an issue also. So I don't know if Riot NA, because it seems like Riot APAC, Riot NA, Riot EMEA, these motherfuckers all do different shit. Even though we're supposed to have a fucking ops team, which keeps everything cohesive.
Different. Yeah, it's different. Vans. Frost just found out that APAC doesn't have teleprompters.
You guys have prompters?
No, they don't have anything. They're kind of hella
They're just winging it.
They wing
to
it.
be honest, I'm down
But
with
that's
winging
even-
it because I have to read a teleprompter and I just fucking start stuttering, dude.
Yeah.
But it should be harder to improv everything, right? In
That's
theory.
what I'm saying. Because now you can just look at the camera and you don't have to like, okay, what the hell am I reading as I'm talking? And
you just go for it.
in my brain, you know?
I think
So
more experienced
Yeah,
people
it's
can just
crazy.
improv it is easier, actually.
Exactly.
Like people I've worked with
Okay.
long term, like I think the script just makes it hard. Like for people who really get in their own groove, unless you're writing for yourself, the problem is like reading, like you just talk different, so it just sounds not like you.
respect.
Yeah.
Respect.
That's how
but
I
yeah.
feel. I'm not saying I'm professional experience, but like, dude, whenever I see a light over a camera, I have to read the prompter. I'm freaking sweating, man. My back.
You're looking at the light instead of the text.
Yeah, it never shows in the front, but as soon as I take off the shirt,
Back
man,
sweat.
my
The
back
back sweat.
You're sweaty anyway.
The
bro.
chair
What are you
is
talking
damp.
about,
The
bro?
chair is damp.
This guy's hot body, bro. Like,
That is
come
also
on.
very true. I do run hot.
I can kind of speak on the visas a little bit for like the American side of it, especially specifically the Brazilian side. I'm not sure if I'm actually able to like talk about this too much, but I do understand the fact that in Brazil specifically, you have to get a workplace visa for Americans. You can't have like a normal passport. If you have a normal passport, that's illegal because you're technically there for work.
Yeah.
And the thing about the work visa is the fact that you need to renew it every 6 months, and the cycle to do it every 6 months, get someone to like attend your meeting, approve it, and everything in Brazil is very dodgy at times, from what I understand. That's besides the fact that if anyone ever knew this, you get taxed 50%, flat 50%, if you're Brazil to America. By the way, as a worker,
Yeah,
that is
all my
tough.
lawyers complained about that.
That is tough.
Yeah, it's
Because I want everyone to think about
if
this.
you're in California though.
Yeah, you're in LA, one of the most
40.
expensive places in the world.
Yeah, trust me.
man.
You're in LA, one of the most expensive
I
places in
know.
the world. You're 50%
so
off your
bad.
fucking payment.
It's so bad.
I don't know. Me as a Canadian, I feel like I'm paying 40% of my income taxes. So I don't know.
Yeah, you get murdered too.
Yeah.
You know, at some point, Poise, they tried to double tax him. They tried to give him the Canadian and Detroit tax. They tried to stack it on him. I'm like, bro, that's like 60% of your money gone.
I only bring up the taxes because of the fact that I have been told that there are certain people out there, I don't know who, that have went to America, did not state they were working there, and just rolled with it and didn't get taxed.
Yeah, I mean, if that person's not going to get audited, they're good. I mean, for Americans, in fairness, we're lucky. I don't know about Canadians, but I think you should look into it. The
Canadians, it's not as bad as Brazil, but it's like 20-30%.
Open up an LLC and just have that be your direct, and then pay yourself and your Social Security or whatever you need to, because the corporate tax rate is often, obviously, especially over the last decade.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Certain people in power made sure that like the corporate tax rate is going to be much lower than the personal. And I've been years and years and years and years and years of me trying to tell players to do this.
As for why Riot doesn't do the visa things, it is because innately Riot does look at the orgs actually to do the visas. Mm-hmm. I have been told this throughout my time, specifically from Kurt, that very famous man, I guess, because he is the guy who tells Demon One for Tokyo, hey, I need you to revoke your Russian citizenship to go to Tokyo for a passport on EG.
Oh,
that's how that happened, by the way.
Wow. Yeah.
Because I remember this. Reformed was supposed to go. He was streaming Jet. I remember streaming Reformed on Jet. He was going to go to Tokyo, and then Kurt comes in and says, everybody, we have Max.
Right.
Well, thank God.
Famous EG.
Thank God that happened for EG. Though, I remember. No offense to my boy Reform, but he was not ready.
No, I love Reform. I loved everybody in the reserve, and I enjoyed everyone EG main roster as well. But I remember that specifically because I remember the wave of relief from everybody during those days in the office. Not Reform. He was like, oh, okay. I just remember him just being like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, that's
but
true.
Riot is supposed to help you with this. Not so specifically. Like, we didn't even get a letter from Riot this year, according to my manager here.
Well, I'm just saying, like, there's the unwritten rule, and I'm pretty sure this is Riot's unwritten rule. It's up to the orgs for like the players' like standards, quote unquote, and like the standards will be a passport, gear, Wi-Fi, whatever, right?
I mean. Yes. However, don't you think that's kind of like paradoxical?
Oh no, it's bullshit.
Because most of the players are right, are younger and like But anyways, yeah.
It's not even considering the country. It's not even considering the country either. That's the main issue I have with it, because there are many countries, especially in like Eastern Europe, for example, Ukraine, Russia, Turkey, even that are affected from the whole entire war situation going on over there. Mm-hmm. That's not even like bringing up like just political issues or cultural issues in general with certain countries with like passports.
Nobody got fucked more than Gambit because of that. I mean, They lost basically an entire year because of all the movement and issues.
You could even look at Navi just in general as an org with all like the fact that they are like the face of Ukraine in esports.
Right. And in fairness, though, I know this on the inside. Simple move to Turkey, like. 5 years ago now. Blade has been living in Italy for like it feels like close to a decade now. Like they left like early. Like I'm talking like
maybe those people, but there's the other
stuff happened. They had already left because of I think whispers of what could come, and they all like moved out all over Europe. So.
Good for them.
Well, I just say it because the fact that like I know there's a lot of people who are still affected to this day, if not and in the past from it.
Yeah.
And I have nothing but like the deepest like sympathy, empathy towards them, and I hope they go through it well, because while we do love playing games for a living and stuff like that and following our passion, it is really shitty when there are outward factors that you cannot control that is impeding your path to do that.
No, for sure. 100%. That M3C roster, like that Gambit roster got eviscerated. Yeah. And it was not even their fault.
Yeah.
Like what happened to them was so fucked.
Well, speaking of people getting eviscerated, Boostio eviscerated Muda on Twitter for the boosting allegations. And we talked a little bit about this off the stream. Off the pod
before,
So we don't need to like go into exactly what was said, but I just want to get just quick thoughts and just I think it's funny. Boostio is like really turning into this like villain arc guy this year, because I feel like this isn't even the first thing that I saw. Like
every year,
Boostio tweeted
it's every year. No?
He don't give a fuck.
Hold on, Boostio tweeted something about FNS, and I was like, damn. I was like, what the?
Okay, I'm gonna have to go look now.
I'll always love Boostio. Like I remember on EG we had the dinner. It was me and Com. Like we went out for lunch, one of the nicest people I've actually met. And I love it when I get to see on Twitter him just absolutely just start shit when I know he's like one of the nicest people I've met.
No, yeah. I mean, yeah, but it's good because I like that we have someone that's actually willing to do this.
Yeah.
Because no one wants to do this in Valorant. Everyone's too scared to be the one that is getting all the hate, you know? But this was the tweet that I saw. This was the other tweet that I saw. This is how happy a man can be when you leave FNS. Like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
This is crazy talk.
Well, the irony of that whole situation, and like, this is what bothers me about esports in general, is like fake is fake. Is like, the truth is, if we're going to be honest, I was very glowing about my opinion of Crashies as a player and the move for Fnatic. But like, Crashies and Victor were the ones that actually put foot on throat, and then it blew up in their face. And the fact that no one says this, or the fact that like everyone pretends like that didn't happen, is just insane to me. Like, they said FNS was trash. They could do it better. They tried to do it better, failed miserably. They got replaced. What the fuck was supposed to happen? Like,
I didn't hear about any of that.
This is just so Valorant. It's insane to me, bro. No, bro. It actually is much worse. I'm just gonna say that as like the thing. It's like, I would just rather people go, yeah, I took my shot, I failed, my bad. But like, it's just so funny how like perceptions, I think, take over real narratives, because I just find it crazy. Like, why would NRG be so desperate to go back and get somebody they dropped?
Bad idea.
Right? Like, there has to be a logical reason why a company would make a move like that. Right? Like, and Ethan is not our word, so he has to be accepting that this might be the best idea or the best thing to do. And it wasn't FNS's like choice, obviously, because I mean, you guys saw him as I mean, he streamed for like half that year, so it's not like he was like,
and he was killing it too, by the way.
Right? Yeah, he was killing it. So like, it's just so it's now obviously I know why boostio did it, and I applaud boostio for doing it because they're competitors.
Yeah.
Right?
Boostio's
like,
trying to get in his head.
He's getting in his head. Oh yeah, 100%. Like, this is not even about boostio at all. It's more like, the thing is, then you have fans or people or analysts or casters that think it's like a certain way and might blame John. And look, there's no relationship there either. But I just know the real is real. Like, you know, it's weird for me to see everyone like almost blame him for the dismissal of the Chet, the Victor, you know, the Crashies, when in reality it's like, actually they did that to him. And then they had their chance and failed. And if they were successful, he would not be back. So unlucky, bros. So it's just like so weird to me to see this in real time happening, and like everyone pretending like that's not actually what happened, when most people that are in the scene, like especially most players, they know. Now, as for boostio going, he knows. But as for him going and like meaning it, no, that's brilliant, because that's just competition at the highest level.
He's been owning with the marketing.
Yeah, but the narrative is going to shift, and now you're going to have fans and people in the public going, "Oh, he's an asshole." It's like, actually, he's not an asshole. Right, like,
but he wants to be that though. That's what he's looking for, and I appreciate that we got someone like that.
Sorry, not boostio. Like, FNS is the asshole for what happened, and it's like, that's not his fault. Crashies is, in my opinion, very fortunate, because he would be in Tier 2 Siberia, in my opinion, because some NA teams are stupid, which we talked about, Baby Bay. But in reality, filling the need for Fnatic is not only a blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
But it is quite the surprise to me. Great move. I've gushed about it enough.
Yeah, he has.
But if you think about the fortune,
you should have heard this guy. Like, he was gushing all over the place.
But think about the fortune. Think about the fortune of like you calling your shot, airballing it badly, and then the Lakers are like, "Yo, I want you up next to LeBron now. Come on, we got you." That is insane luck. You might have actually deserved it because you might have had the requisite skills and the blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that's cool. But think of the land where some NA teams that could have used you were like, "Nah, we're good," which is stupid of them, of course, right? Like, I'm not saying Crashies is a Tier 2 player. I have the exact opposite opinion. But what the fuck? He ends up out of NRG and goes to Fnatic. You could not dream of a better scenario if you were him.
It's kind of sick, to be honest.
And he threw up a brick. Crazy work, bro. Crazy work.
I think he's going to fucking kill it with Fnatic, by the way.
Oh, I think so too.
Yeah.
I think it's a fucking amazing move by all parties involved.
Yeah.
Amazing move.
Such a
Actually,
fanboy,
Jovi, come on.
He's fanboying so hard.
What up?
What up, Jovi?
What up, Jovi?
Come closer, because the camera doesn't like.
Dude, you gotta move closer to him. It's tracking you.
The camera's moving away.
Yeah, you gotta move towards him.
Yeah, what's up, bro?
What up?
Yeah,
So what's up?
Hector, you got to kiss his cheek so that the camera actually pans it in the right spot.
You want to do it?
In your dreams, maybe. In your dreams, maybe. They want me to kiss you on the cheek, bro. Come here, bro. I got you, bro. Come here, bro.
What is this podcast
There
becoming?
we go.
There you go.
There we
Oh,
go.
wow.
And he took the
Wait,
camera.
the camera
He
even
took the
gave
camera.
up on
He
me.
took the camera.
Nah, that's crazy work, bro.
Jovi took the camera.
That's no way. That's crazy work.
That's
That's
so
crazy
funny.
Bro,
work.
this
That's
camera-
so funny.
Bro.
Wow.
Having a great time over there, I see.
This camera basically told me to fuck off, bro.
This has been a fun
Yeah, we gotta do
podcast.
that. That's what we were here for in the first place.
Yeah. Let's talk about kickoff. Let's literally talk about kickoff now. Not these cameras that someone bought that are
So funny.
AI, bro. It's coming.
not cool. Okay, so let's start with NA. Off the rip, we got EG versus Loud. And I just want to get your guys' opinion on who you guys think is going to win this matchup. I'm going to let you guys go first because me and Frost have already done this like twice. But let's get your guys'
Yeah, you did twice, but not with Americas, so who cares?
Yeah, that's right. Tell him.
That's what I'm saying.
Just straight.
That's what I'm saying. But you guys go first, bro. You guys go first.
You're the host.
All right, fine. I got EG.
Same. Done.
I think it'll be 2-1 EG. I
Yeah.
think Loud definitely gets a map. I think Loud's definitely gets a map. I think a lot of people think they're gonna be like a lot weaker than they think, but like I don't think they're that bad. They have a pretty good core, technically speaking. I just think EG got some really big upgrades though, technically speaking. Like I think Icy and Ye going to EG, very big upgrades. I do love to see Jog going to G2. I love to see
fantastic move. But losing Ja to me
Hurts.
Man, Jock Mo is just.
I think Power's talking about like the potential of Sim versus Icy. I think Icy was a way better fit for this.
Oh no,
in my
agree.
opinion.
I feel 5%.
Yeah,
I feel
5% too.
I mean, for sure, but you
Explain
could just tell that he wasn't ready.
Yeah, but explain this. Explain this I feel bad thing, because I find it so hilarious how we choose, and by we I just mean again, going back to the FNS and then the Crashers thing, we choose to sort of like fall in love with some storylines and then like villainize the same on the opposite.
I'm just curious. Every storyline. I fall in love with every storyline. I've been in this scene for the longest time that I hate to see, people in positions where they can't succeed. So
No, that's fair.
Right?
But Icy was removed after making top 8 at Champs, right? Sim,
Second place in Shanghai.
right? Second place in Shanghai. Sim
Third place.
has been a career tier 2 player.
Yeah.
If one of them deserved a shot to compete this year with EG, who should it be in theory based on historical precedent?
It would technically have to be Icy in that aspect, but
Yeah.
I only say Sim.
I'm just
because
curious
of the
why
fact-
you feel bad about Sim. I'm just curious. I'm not trying to be a dick, Tyler. It's just facts.
For me, I'm also casting the America side, or I guess the North American side for Tier 2 in the last season. So like I've been watching TSM grind it out, So with Fading on top of that, with them like having a struggle in the first split,
poised, all of
and then losing out and then crashing out in the mid-season cup, and then the second split have like the best lower bracket run going into the playoffs, going into Ascension. Even if they got 6th place, they still got 2 games that went into 3 maps, double OTs, triple OTs with whoever of all nights and 2G and all of them.
They
so like
won those.
They could have won.
Should have.
They could have at least made playoffs, and I think that would have been sick.
Sure.
And a lot of that wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for Sim in those moments where he like popped off, because like I remember Abyss games where he was just like all him like carrying it all and making sure that like him and GMD were just like popping off during Ascension, right? So that's why for me it's just like, oh man, he's got like fire. He really wants it. He's given the opportunity with EG. They're playing in the Tarek and Ludwig Invitational or Sentinels one, either or. It looked all right, but like unfortunately, like the ups and downs of like the results that we know that Sim could do in Tier 2 was also prominent there for EG, right? When he was trialing for EG. So that's why it's just like it sucks that he wasn't able to prove himself yet, but I'm hoping that next year he's going to be able to do so if he continues into Tier 2. But nonetheless, all that to digress to say, like, I still think it's a great thing for Icy and for EG as a whole in an org. I think that Kickoff right now, EG is probably in one of the best spots in all of the teams so far in Americas in terms of on paper, right? Because if you're looking at the off-season cup, Ye's already playing a lot of Vice. I think with Tejo coming out and annihilating a lot of the Sentinel roles, I think now being able to have Ye on Sage or Ye on Deadlock or Ye on Vice is going to be kind of sick.
Nope.
You don't think so?
There's going to be one agent that I won't say, but let's just say there's one agent I'm looking for Ye to play.
ISO.
To combat Tejo the Pendejo.
Dude,
so we'll see it.
It's gonna be or breach, or
you can keep naming them. I'm just saying. No, there's one.
I was really trying.
There's one.
But nonetheless, I think that works for at least on paper with what EG's trying to cook up with the players that they currently have in this roster. And I think Icy, also with the tail meta and the Sentinels being gone, and also the Neon nerfs, I think it opens a lot of doors for Raze and Yoru players. And I think Icy is going to be able to complement those two roles into perfection for the team.
I think Yoru is going to be pretty much NA's flavor of the patch until
I feel it's even
nerfs.
more EMEAs than NA for now. Because if I look at how many Yoru players in NA,
I think this will be the year of the Yoru. I can't lie.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Bro, I've been saying that. Like I've been. Yeah. EG, G2, trust. They're all going to run. It's just
speak
gonna
on
be
the sim
non-stop.
though.
Yeah. Let's go back. But yeah, power.
The reason why I even said it was because of the fact that I know Icy from the reserve. He was probably one of the best players out of it, besides of course Max and BCJ and Kyle. I did like Reformed and Apoth. I really did like them. It was a shame to see them go on. Specifically Apoth. I was very sad about
that was rough because I feel like he got thrown into that. And he was like a cop-out almost. And I just felt bad for him because even in my trials when I was there, and he was playing controller and honestly any role, his comms were so good. And also he was honestly dominating.
I'll just never forget
I was very impressed.
I'll just never forget this guy. I spent time in the reserve actually, where I would sit down in the same room as them just to watch them play, just learn tricks and stuff like that. So I have very deep respect for all of them there. And the reason why I feel bad for Sim specifically is because of the fact that I would like to see a new cycle of talent a little bit into franchising, because I think it's a really cool always to see new tier 2 players. Burno is a good example with NRG, Mata, etc. Where it's okay, you get to see these people actually get to shine on stage. It's really nice to see, as not only as a viewer because it's someone new and you get to see the new play styles, but also B, it actually requires players to be really, really aware and not be complacent, because hey, there are people grinding very hard, very, very hard, and they want that spot, because the reality of franchising is that there's a lot of talent in every region, by the way. Every region has a bunch of talent, but there's not enough slots to represent at times, which is the painful truth about it. That is why I feel bad for Sim, not because, he's going to be a great player or whatever, right? I think it's a systematic issue that he can't control that sucks, in my perspective.
See, this is where
I love to see
disagree
Icy.
about the not control part.
I love to see Icy, though.
Sure, because I've coached Sim. I've coached Governor. I came to Talent. Why did I choose Governor?
Yeah.
Because some people are more open, some people are better at certain things, some people are more receptive to information, some people are less toxic teammates, there's a litany of reasons why you go and make a decision. I risk my career for Gov. Why would I do that? I'm not going to get into that specifically, but what I'm trying to elaborate here on is simple, that maybe he had chances and for one reason or another, it seemed like systematically everybody that could said no, because he trialed for many teams, right? Why do you think that's the case? And then swap that to Icy. Why do you think it's the case that everybody that's around him is basically man, I really want to play with this guy?
I will say I've never heard a bad thing about Icy. I've never heard a bad thing about him as a teammate. Or
can you imagine
like that?
The amount of smack talk he was getting from the general public of just his performances of not being a star duelist in the G2 days, and he just doesn't care. He's still playing. He never let that get to him, and of course has a great support around that to be able to compete at that level. But I think to be able to, kind of just block all of that criticism out and even lose his spot in G2. even in the offseason, not being sure where he's going to be, but just keeps a head on his shoulders and keeps grinding, has an opportunity with EG. It comes to show also from his personality and what he brings to the table. And I think it goes back to what you're saying here, Hector. Sometimes when you're looking at a player, and no matter how many players you're trying to try, you're going to trial through your roster to try to make the spot. It's not just on the skills, right? It's whatever's going to be whatever they bring outside of the server in terms of synergy for the team, in terms of like chemistry, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And that's why, like, I feel like every time Potter builds a team, it's always like a group of boys or a group of friends just hanging out all the time. You know, like they're in and out of the server, and I think it works out pretty well.
Is a staple for them. Like that's like their signature for sure.
Yeah,
it's the work ethic.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm not even trying to be like overly critical of Sim. It's more like, look, me, I'm in Korea. Power, you know me better than most. Everyone thought I'm trash, despite my resume beside everything. I'm in Korea. I wasn't even good enough to be in NA. Now, why is that, right? So it's like the same description I'm giving of Tyler. You can literally turn that right around on me and be like, well, that's also why you're in Korea. Yeah, it's sometimes there are things you do in moments that you don't realize at the moment that for whatever reason cause this perception of you that may or may not be true, and then it's really hard to fight through that. But this is why you often don't want to put yourselves in those positions when you can, especially when you're trying to fight for a spot, right? Like, you know, sometimes it's arguing with teammates, sometimes it's like, you know, about not being receptive to information. All that stuff lingers. So people like, in my opinion, Icy, as you mentioned, people like Governor that are, I think, in my opinion, I could be wrong about this, I think most of them generally, other people have enjoyed playing with them. I think that is like where you start. The skill and everything else is sort of like it goes down, like on the list. And I'd imagine that this is why I said or why I questioned why we felt bad for one instead of acknowledging that maybe the other guy is just, you know, not better. It has nothing to do sometimes with being better.
That guy is like that. No, I see is like that. I will state this right now. I remember screaming this guy when he got into G2. He was like that.
Yeah.
Because that was when Breeze was in. I remember that. Breeze was in, and I just remember him dropping like 40.
Scrim Icy is a demon. Maybe Potter can unleash that. You know. Okay, so going into that next match though, it's gonna be, you know, probably EG versus Crew then, based upon what we're saying. How do we think that match is gonna go? Because Crew for the first time ever is like full Chilean roster, I believe.
Yep.
The vibes are probably gonna be super high, hopefully, because I feel like that's been like probably their biggest issue in the years that they've been playing.
I do think it's a tragedy for Heat, though. That is a tragedy.
I know, right? Because he was
cooking. He was cooking last year.
He's still in the league, though.
To be honest, we'll get there, but I think it's going to cook with FURIA as well, though.
I agree.
FURIA's going to look even better this year.
I agree.
Aim has never been Heat's issue. Actually, this is a perfect conversation to have after we just had. You know what's been Heat's number one problem, bro? The interpersonal communication between him and his teammates. He has a short fuse, huge temper. Now, you can say this is synonymous.
Gets heated.
Bro, so now it becomes...
God damn it, Vans.
And look, and I'm
Vans brought the dad jokes to SpikeTalk, yo.
And I'm going to tell you this. Right now, my biggest question mark when we first talked about this, Baby Bay, was, he's going in a room with people that are similar. Him and MW0 on the same team, to me, if you're just looking at it from a non-skills perspective and you're just thinking about like building a culture like you brought up with EG, Vansilli, that is not a recipe for success. That is fucking plutonium. It can literally implode. And remember, I know because I've been there. I've been there with Leo. I've been there with DG Zin, with Mazin. I know.
Yeah.
That shit is potentially combustible. Now, if they get along, will it be great? Of course. The 1-2 punch with MW0 and Heat, nasty, bro.
Yeah.
Right? If you thought Kesnet and him were good last year, brother, listen, no disrespect to Kesnet. He's not Leo. He's not MW0.
And plus,
personality-wise, Kesnet is easy to get along with.
Yeah.
This is not that.
Yeah. And I also think that whenever we get there, I think MW0 and Heat, like when we were first looking at them and they first started off in like the early days of Val, everybody's just thinking about those guys as just star duelists or whatnot, right? But in the past,
just one-trick jet players.
Exactly. But now they take a step back. They're more in supportive roles too. So, I mean, I think that ego might settle down a little bit, and I think it would look pretty good towards the end, hopefully.
I had MW0 on Sova. Arguably, the lulls out of that Sova. Trust me, that shit does not go away, bro. He's trying to play Jet on Sova, bro. It's trust.
I love it. I love it.
So I'm very curious.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it could be, crew of last year a repeat. But I also think the downfall will also be a repeat because crew started out 5-0, and then limped into a position to get to champs.
Yeah,
but that's the crew story.
Yeah,
that's the crew story, and at this point, it's just consistent. So it's like you got to bank on it again.
Yeah,
you have to.
I can't argue with that logic. That
it's actually insane how they're the only team that's able to do this though. Yeah. I've never seen a team like always just clutch up every single year.
Styling at the end of the year.
It's absolutely ridiculous that they're able to do this. Like
the last LCQ before and then this last playoff were kind of insane.
It's ridiculous.
I would agree. It's just not normal.
It's like not normally. And imagine if they could just figure out their normal season, or maybe this is the secret. The secret is to not give a fuck throughout the whole season, like you, Frost.
I was going to say the game exactly.
And then just go to champs and bomb out.
I can feel the pain. I can feel the pain the moment he closes his eyes.
Just go to champs and O2 barbecue your way out of it, bro. You know,
farm champ smile.
Bro, Frost, you should go join them, bro. You should go join them, bro. Go be their coach. Maybe you being a part of that. You'll finally have a team that understands the bigger picture, though.
Funny, I tried, actually. Didn't think I was good enough, yo.
Bro, see, there you go, bro.
That team didn't win a game. I wasn't good enough. I got shipped to Korea. I'm like,
yeah, that's funny.
All right, next match.
No, wait. Needless to say, because you were talking about the result of that game, though, right? Crew versus EG.
Yeah. Yeah, we didn't even talk about
it. EG's going to piss pound them.
You think
I don't think so.
Oh, my God, yes.
I don't think so.
Because it's a meta thing.
That's a pretty even match.
It is a meta thing, but...
Nah. Who do you trust more to be able to pick up... it? So first off, this is Vice's first time in VCT, right? So 2 new agents?
Yeah.
What? Forget everything else.
Yeah.
Who do we trust more to pick up new agents with 2.5 weeks and to better define or pick up on the meta faster? Crew or EG? To me, that's the game.
EG.
Right, 100%. So to me, it's not even going to be close.
Yeah.
Simply because of that. You're thinking skill. I'm not thinking skill. I'm thinking
what if here's the thing. What if Kesnet just takes out his cannon and just slaps it all over Icy?
I think Kesnet. I'm actually more looking forward to Mizuno. I'd like to see how Mizuno does. Yeah. Because he was the MVP for Lev in the Americas Finals.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
When I was working in Voltaic Amps, I was working with Cartoon, who is also his AM coach.
Yeah, Cartoon's awesome.
I got to see both Mizuno and also King go from mechanically okay to walking on water from Cartoon.
Yeah.
And that was very, very nice to see, where it's like, wow, I got to see my coach get to work with these 2 people who are on stage at champs and get to work with me as well. So that was very cool.
Yeah. The question mark for me, well, actually, I'm going to answer the first thing where Hector was saying, are we going to talk about on paper what it looks like, how Valorant should be played, and then 2, who shoots better? And there's been those moments, every time you look at EG and you look at how Potter built a team, on paper, they're always going to look really good with how they approach a map, right? Every time you see a 50 round and they're going with stingers, whenever they're getting close ults, whenever they're trying to go for trap plays on Laura buys, they're going to use those ults on Laura buys too, just to try to capitalize on the round and turn it over. So on paper, I think EG, yes, definitely. But they'll have moments where they're just going to lose because they have people that just shoots better. And if you're looking at Crew's position, if they can't follow the meta, where they can't play a Vice and they can't play a Tejo, and they still go back to a raised jet double dive, that's still going to own. The only question mark for me is we were just talking about earlier issues with FURIA in terms of visas, right? I think that when I said to read more about Crew, apparently Adverso is having issues with visas to get into LA to compete with Americas. So if that's the case, and wasn't he IGLing for all nights and maybe taking the role of IGLing for this team now in Crew? I might be wrong on that one, but I think that was the talk. Then they'll lose that. But if they lose that and they still have Melzer that could call the shots, and they still have MTA that could probably replace Adverso for the time being, the roster will still look pretty decent, and they're not going to change they're not going to be scrambling around to make sure that they figure things out because they still have a strong 5-player team or a strong core with now Mazzino in the roster too, right?
I mean this with no disrespect. I think you guys are grossly overestimating their firepower. Me hearing firepower like this, but they got 13 forward by FURIA. Don't talk to me about firepower.
Dude,
like straight up, don't even talk to me about that is firepower.
Yeah.
MW0 is firepower. There's no one on that team that's MW0. And please, I understand Kesnet has been good for a long time. There are levels. There are actual levels.
I think
but hear me out,
challengers.
But no, but hear me out. Hear me out.
Congrats.
Kesnet,
now he's going up against former esports player of the year.
Kesnet in quarter 4 though.
Last year.
Kesnet in quarter 4 though is on a different level, bro. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Kesnet at the end of the year is that I know we're not talking about the end of the year. Yeah, I know.
That's the
but I'm just saying quarter 4 Kesnet is a different animal, yo.
Like, for sure, he might be Steph Curry in the clutch.
He is, bro. He is. And
Adversal's been in those shoes before in Tier 1 already as well, Hector. He's played with Leviathan in the first season too, so he knows.
I do think EG. I do think EG has the edge.
That's foul.
I'm just saying. Like, listen, I respect it. Trust me. I appreciate all of your insights. Me, on a personal level, though, I do think we're kind of overhyping. I think we're comparing firepower, and when I think firepower, I have like a different definition. And for my definition, that team does not compete. I don't even think EG has the traditional firepower that we're talking about right now, like especially compared to FURIA, right? Who you just mentioned.
Yeah.
That is on some like.
I think if Crew wins, I think if Crew wins, it's going to be big performances from their stars. You know, Mazzino, Shy, Kesnet.
Yeah, it's going to have to be.
And exactly. And I think EG
Shy's going to have to actually like ball out of control.
But the thing is like if EG can't handle that pressure, then we'll see. But I think Ye is stepped up big. I think Ye is bringing something in terms of that contact play style that I don't think that EG had before. I know that you had Apoth going in taking 50-50s, but now you have Ye going in taking 50-50s.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Bro.
Which is way better for that.
And
for
let's
that
forget Derek. We haven't even talked about Derek. Come on.
Yeah, Derek's a low key killer. Yeah, he's the low key killer.
Derek and Superman are sick, but
if those, by the way, if those guys are considered the support players that are washed, I would still rather those two than some of the guys we're mentioning on that team. That's my point. It's like if those are your 4 and 5.
I still think that Crew might take no disrespect to EG. I think it's still like for me it's kind of like who's going to play better on that day because I think on any given Sunday Crew could take it, right? That's the
logic,
the easy cope. The easy cope.
Anyone
can any given Sunday,
on any day, and
exactly,
that's Valorant,
exactly.
And I agree with that. I'm just saying if they were to play 10 times, I think EG wins 8.
But when it has to be a gauntlet run, I think Crew always looks good on gauntlet runs. You just mentioned before for LCQ and everything as well, right? Which is why I think at this moment,
yes,
they play it just like Talon. But when it matters,
no one is looking like this as a gauntlet. I'm being dead honest with you.
Yeah.
No one's perception, even us, no one's perception is looking at this as a gauntlet because no matter what, you have an advantage if you don't win by going into season 1, season 2, season 3 because of the time off, because of the minimal amount of points you get. Now, we might be in a different scenario where Thailand, high team.
Okay? You want to be there.
For the most part, I'm not sure anyone is looking at this as that gauntlet.
Yeah.
I would probably veer a little bit more towards you if it were do or die, given the fact that I know the Crew players are so chiseled when it comes to being able to play when it matters and playing for their lives on the line, which a lot of people, as you know, will come up short in these situations.
Yeah.
So you can bank on them not being too afraid of the moment for sure.
Yeah.
But I don't think Kickoff, anyone's afraid of that moment because I think the perception is that Kickoff is like not like that big a deal.
Yeah.
Given that most of your points will be accrued for champs, season 1, season 2, season 3.
So you got EG, Dre's got EG, Power, you got EG as well?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm the only Crew. I'm the only one in Crew PM.
It doesn't mean Crew gets like 2-0 or anything like that. I just think the only reason. I think the reason EG wins though is current map pool. Map pool is kind of rough right now for like anyone that plays Jet, just because of the fact that like you have Lotus Fracture, all these bind, split, all these like really tough corridors and small maps where you have to have the raise or something along those lines. And the map where it is like, okay, we want Jet, it's Pearl, it's okay jet map. It's not the best.
Yeah.
Right. So it's going to be a lot of that's true. It's going to be off.
That's the only reason I say that. The current map pool is definitely going to shift quite a bit. I think a lot of teams will actually do a lot better than we think.
Agreed.
Especially in lower bracket, because of the fact that people are probably going to get punched in the face. Uppers, go down to lowers, realize, okay, the meta has shifted, whatever. All right, let's get it together, guys.
Yeah. It's so funny because even though I'm here, I have such a different opinion on that because I feel like the LATAM and Brazilian teams are pretty much fodder, at least in kickoff for sure. Because I don't think they'll be able to handle Tejo the Pendejo and like the changes that he's making. I actually do not. So I don't even think that like they can even like. I don't think they can. I think FURIA has the best chance to actually do something because they also have an easy run.
MIBR.
They have two MIBR as well.
No, I think 100D is going to piss pound MIBR.
You think?
No. Oh yes. Let me tell you what's happening. Let me not tell you what's happening. Let me just say, MIBR and scrims is not Tarzan. They're Jane. If this is indicative of what's to come, they are about to get. I think 100 Thieves easily wins that for sure. And then if you look at the bracket, okay, let's say MIBR win. Then they have to go through Sentinels, who you know are going to play Tejo the Pendejo, first off. Yeah. And then they have to finish with the probably EG. Still a tough road. That's 3 hard matchups. Compare that to FURIA, for instance. FURIA, Leviathan, 2G, 2G, Leviathan, and then maybe a hard match if they're unlucky with like obviously like G2. But if they're lucky, they get an NRG or a Cloud9. Look at the road. MIBR got mega hustled. They got
look at the road.
They got a Fnatic level bracket because Fnatic and EMEA got screwed too.
Look at the MIBR road if they lose to 100 Thieves because in lower round 1 they're going to have to play against G2 or Energy.
Yeah.
As elimination. But we'll get there. We'll get there.
That's brutal.
Yeah,
that's absolutely brutal.
Yeah.
So we're there. So MIBR versus 100 Thieves. I think 100 Thieves has the edge here.
I think so too.
But then again, like Ospas can do Ospas things.
For sure. Ospas is the best player in the world. If that's a matchup where like I could certainly be wrong because that guy's that guy.
Yeah, he's that good, right?
Just in general though, with what I'm hearing about how they're doing and then also just the fact that 100 Thieves has 5 very good players. I mean, good players.
Very good.
Like,
you can say very good.
No, that's cap. That's cap. That's actually cap.
What do you mean?
They don't have 5 very good players. Sorry about that. That was a. They have some very good players, not 5. Come on, let's be serious about this. But the roster is good enough and cohesive enough that I think they should actually take them down. And then it'll be 100 Thieves versus Sentinels, the El Clasico in North America.
It's not an easy game though. You think the 100 Thieves are going to clap MIBR?
At pool especially. Yep, I think they're better on. Look at okay. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about my game plan against Lev at Champs, which worked, by the way, because Ospas did nothing to us. Yeah. Ospas actually was getting put down by Primi consistently. Just go look. Don't take my word for it. Right? Bind, he wanted nothing of it. Primi started 21-7 on Ascent. So I don't even want to hear this bullshit that like Ospas. No. There were other people that came up and beat us, similar to what we did with Trex, right? So there are maps where you can really exploit his playstyle. I fully expect 100 Thieves to know what maps those are, especially because they're in the region. I also fully expect those players to have a better understanding of how to slow him down. Because it's not like Ospas is like, like all-knowing. Ospas has a very clear, very methodical way that he plays, that if you pay attention to it, you can literally put him in a like really difficult spot round after round after round. And most times, if he has, Kauzin and Sadhak on his team, they will make up the difference, and he will be able to just.
Now, though.
Okay, but that's not Kauzin, and that's not Sadhak. You see where I'm going with this. So now it becomes a much easier. Simply put, it was easy for us at Champs to put him in those very difficult positions and take him out of the game. Mm-hmm. Right? I had the unfortunate byproduct of King playing out of his mind on Bind. And then obviously Tex, we made some mistakes with Tex and Tex kind of popped off, and that was cool.
Yeah, I mean,
that's great for those
Tex
guys.
is a sleeper, but
for sure,
he's been grinding so hard, and you see his performance.
I have a bit of a question though for everybody here.
What's up?
What's your thoughts on Xander to 100 Thieves?
It is as good a pickup as they could have made, given the fact that they lost
Bang.
who they lost.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Because I think that was a very.
But I think it's move. A downgrade from Bang if we can. And I like Xander. I've had much respect for Xander. But if Xander's not IGLing, it is a downgrade.
I think Xander definitely fits on this team, though. Like, out of all, I think when I look at the teams in this league, like, this is the team for him, for sure. And didn't he play with EU before as well, right? Before he made it up?
Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's pretty cool, too.
Yeah,
that Xander gets to come in. And
it was Xander with John Cutie with Sentinels or Xander with EU with 100 Thieves, both like MAU. So whatever route he was going to take for this year was going to be pretty awesome in terms of meeting up with old teammates and challengers.
Yeah, facts.
But I do, needless to say, I still think that 100 Thieves are potentially going to win this game, but not necessarily because, it's... I'm underrating Aspas, Noswer, and Cortesia because Cortesia during the offseason was also popping off. Like, everybody was like, who the hell is this guy? And like, he was just Mr. Consistent during the Tishinga event. But it's going to be funny. But I base it off watching the 100 Thieves content game where all 5 of them for 100 Thieves had to play with classics only against like, I don't know, like I forgot the like JHB and like all the content creators for 100 Thieves, but he also had Timmy in there. So that Timmy is like a guy that's hard to play against if he's got a Vandal and you got to play classics only, right? He's pretty much a pro.
For sure.
So for me to just listen to the coordination and teamwork that they had to display with playing troll comps and troll agents, because EU, for example, was playing Reyna and he still won the game towards the end. For me, it gave me good hope for 100 Thieves in terms of how much chemistry has been built during this offseason going into this game. So even if they lost against Trust and Plug during like the Sora Invitational in the offseason, I still think that going into kickoff, they might be able to pull a deep run just based off what I've been hearing in the comms.
The start of every year, if they keep the core nucleus as they have in 100 Thieves for a long time, the vibes will always be immaculate. Mm-hmm. The problem is when hard times happen, this is when you have real issues, of course. So, like, the mental wherewithal of this team to be able to deal with adversity has never been there, and it's still probably not. Boostio, the addition of Boostio is what, to me, gave them a nice, because now they have a guy that has a lot of fuck you in him.
Yeah,
100%.
Right? So that's a guy that's not going to get
It feeds a lot of confidence and everything of that sort.
So, in terms of vibes, to me, that has never been a question. In terms of, like, game IQ, I'd also not disrespect them by saying that's in question. I don't believe that MIBR this early, remember, they just put the team together, and just because you have Aspas, they don't have the same things.
That's why
I think it's so hard to be able to be like, I think they're going to just, like, have enough to take 100 Thieves down. It's like 100 Thieves still largely is the same core. Mm-hmm. I guarantee you they still largely have most of the same sets or most of the ideas that they pulled from last year, and they're just like added it into new stuff with they've changed agents and stuff.
With Tejo,
And I think they would be better off with a new agent like Tejo than a Latam and Brazilian team who I think we can all agree that region, those two different regions, have never been the ones that have
at the forefront of like changing the meta
right?
Yeah.
Outside of Sadhak.
Yeah.
Right? For instance.
Yeah.
So
like a Breach Phoenix on freaking Ascent.
Yeah. Right. So it's hard for me to think that logically, in my opinion, that MIBR this early is going to have what it takes.
I agree. I think it's a turnaround midseason.
So
100 Thieves has more experience
has
right now.
Everything they need to win this. If they don't win this, it's like
what were you doing in the offseason?
I do look forward to what Boostio and Zix have to cook because I have a lot of respect for Zix from UG.
Yeah, 100%.
I thought that was very, very, very smart.
Yeah,
for a guy who came to League of Legends into Valorant at the time. I think he had quite the view of the game and perspective.
It's MOBA.
So.
It's a MOBA. Yeah. Valorant's a MOBA. So that's
why I'd love to see what his idea is with the new map pool and new agents.
Even Aspas tweeted out before the offseason started, I guess, that it's a work in progress that they have so far. But I think him being reunited with Noswer is also going to allow for him to just be a little bit more comfortable and I guess happy in a spot in the team, and maybe that might unlock him a little bit more. But I agree in terms of like a whole team on paper as a roster to play against 100 Thieves. 100 Thieves should be able to take this one, but I don't think it's going to be an easy victory. It could be a 2-0, but I think they're still going to be close.
Yeah, and Sentinels got blessed because technically speaking, they got a good bracket too. Like after what they dealt with at Champs, this is like, okay, we got to play maybe 100 Thieves, and then after that, maybe EG and then we're in upper finals.
Yeah.
That is kind of free for them, no?
Yeah.
Like, given what it could have been.
Yeah.
Like, damn.
But what do we think if it was a Sentinels against 100 Thieves? Because I think we all agree that 100 Thieves are going to take this over.
I think Sentinels are going to bop the fuck out of them.
I don't know, actually. That's tough. That's tough for
Sentinels is going to bop, especially because just think of how difficult it was to deal with Zekken already. Now you have Tejo the Bendejo behind you, clearing out. You can't play a bomb site. They were always good at what? Retakes and post. Or I don't want to say always, but
that was their bread and butter last year, though. Yeah. Their bread and butter last year was they had John was great at identifying when to play out and calling the retake or whoever called the retake. I mean,
it's even since Ghost Gaming days.
right. Like
with Caps. Yeah.
I don't know. I just think it's just more of the same. Now you give Sentinels an agent, which exacerbates that issue for most teams.
Yeah.
Can't play on the bomb site. You're going to have to play retakes. You can post plants against us. Our post plant's better than yours. Sure, they don't have 10s, technically, to like hold angles and hold long angles.
But they got bang.
I think was a good advantage. But they got bang now. Yeah. The thing is, the Phantom buff, I think, makes him even better because before you wouldn't want Bang to hold a long angle because he's obviously a Phantom player mainly.
Yeah.
You would normally want like an AK player, which would like put the strain, I think, on some other people.
The Phantom on LAN is probably going to be cooking right now. With the new
but the buffs, I actually have been begging and pleading with my guys because I think the Phantom is just so much better than the Vandal now. But like, so I just think there's just too many things. Fuck, basically.
and narrate as well. Like he's sick. He's just sick of the game.
Yeah,
so
just 6-man. Yeah.
Two questions on that one too, though.
He's new, and then you have Redux as a 6-man that, like, if all goes to shit, you can just throw Redux in there, and like they have a 6-man that
just can't
probably is better than every 6-man on every other roster. So like, it's like, oh, they're not playing well. Don't worry, we have a Demon 1 level move. We learned this from EG.
Exodia.
Unlucky.
They got the Exodia.
But, so my question is, going into the off season, though, we've seen that John Cutie has been floating out of the Sentinel role and playing a little bit more scans.
Right?
While Narrate's been the one that's playing in Sentinel. With now Tejo joining the equation, though, I feel like this is going to be a perfect agent, for example, Zelsis, so that you could keep John Cutie on scans or whatnot and Narrate on Sentinel, right? So it does switch over to a meta that favors Sentinels going into kickoff quite well.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's
pound
tough.
for pound against 100 Thieves, though. Give it to Sentinels, right?
Yeah,
dude. I think it's gonna be a slugfest. I think it's gonna be a slugfest.
It's gonna be freaking awesome for sure.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be an awesome match.
I actually
don't even want to make a prediction.
Be closer
I don't even know
than some of the other series I've predicted.
I don't even know.
But I still think Sentinels is gonna win. And I'll give Yinsu a lot of credit. She said this before. I did. NA is the most competitive region. As right now to start kickoff, I think this is the most competitive region in all of Valorant. The top and the low, so the like top to bottom, everything is so much closer than in every other league.
I agree, but I also feel that EMEA got a little bit closer this year as well. Right? With Vitality, KC, Fnatic, who am I missing here at this point now?
Maybe.
Yeah, Heretics.
But the low teams are, like, in my opinion, so low, or at least much lower. Like, if you think of the low teams here, who are the low teams? If you listen to me, it's TG, MIBR right now.
C9 potentially.
C9 potentially. That is still, like,
very good.
They might still be top 4 in, like,
I agree.
APAC, for instance.
If you tell me MIBR and FURIA last year versus MIBR and FURIA this year, then there's a huge upgrade from last year. I agree. Yeah, it is very competitive.
Facts. Yeah. So
okay, now let's I think it's gonna be a slugfest either way.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Now we got NRG versus C9. I got NRG on this one. On this one all the way. I think NRG look phenomenal. I don't think they're gonna slow down by any means. Actually, they're just getting started.
Same. So I got nothing.
Yeah, I got nothing on that one. I think they bounced back and like their event in Korea, they like crashed on the first game, but then everything else was all good, So
everyone says that crash. I actually talked to Baby about this too. I forget what episode it was, but the thing is, Apac's aim is different. Like you don't understand it until you get here. But then when they realize, oh my God, these guys can shoot. Okay, so we won't be taking these fights. We won't be fighting these long angles. We're probably going to be on angle 2. We're probably going to do this and that. We're going to rotate faster. Once they figured out the macro, it was like, we're chilling. Yeah. But yeah, at first it's like, it's crazy. It's not even they did bad. It's more like they were not ready to take these 50-50s and they lost a lot of them.
Yeah, which is good though. This is why. So obviously I do the podcast with them, and they were speaking about how beneficial playing in these tournaments was because now they have an idea for the future. Mm-hmm. If they make it through Kickoff, if they make it Toronto, whatever. Now they can understand a little bit about how that region plays, and they're a little bit more prepared.
Yes. I think you're mentioning meta too, Hector. I think that's the important thing with Bonkar in the roster too. That helps a lot.
I hope.
They have Ethan. They have Ethan, who's the initiator.
I hope, because last year was cooked, and Guild before that was not meta thriving. So let's hope. But I have faith.
But then we lead to another banger matchup.
I'm so sorry, baby. I actually think Tejo hurts NRG more than any other team in North America.
Tejo hurts NRG more than any other team
because
in North America.
it equalizes both FNS and it equalizes the Sentinel theory. So yes, NRG can play Counter-Strike for sure. They have the guys that can do it, obviously, with Ethan and FNS. Yeah. But the problem is it neutralizes other people's weaknesses and helps them kind of close the gap to NRG. I think NRG had a much bigger gap, let's say in December, than they did in January, just by osmosis, just by this guy existing and being able to just neutralize a lot of what they have come to do. It's fucked. Yeah. Like, actually fucked. I actually almost feel bad for NRG. Are they good enough to figure it out and, like, still be successful? Yeah, sure. But I feel like this team was hurt more than any other team in North America because of Tejo.
Yeah. My question mark for this team for NRG, and if you want to go for deeper runs, is I was mentioning, like, the Euro being fairly strong going in now. Is that going to be a responsibility for Ethan a little bit more? Because I don't recall seeing Mata playing any Yoru during challengers. He was always Jet Rays.
Or in Soup, no?
Maybe Soup. I haven't watched Soup. Yeah, I haven't watched Soup. So
yeah, he did in Fan Vials on Abyss. He was on,
did it on Abyss. Here's the thing with Mata is that he's just a good player.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Me and Pixel got to play against him for like forever, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm sure
I will say this though, Mata's better on speed. He's better on faster agents than he is on slower ones.
Yeah.
So Yoru over time I think Yoru is a much slower duelist and agent in general. He's more macro than he is micro. Mm-hmm. And I think like Jet and Neon, for instance, are way more micro than macro. So if there is a problem, I can see it coming there first.
Yeah.
That he's not able, I think, to be as tricky because he's not very straightforward. I think the assumption is that Yoru's easy to play. They smoke, you pop up. He's so much harder, and it takes so much more mental effort, especially for your IGL, than most other duelists, which is why I think historically he hasn't been played as much. And then defensively, he has so much responsibility. If you mess up with your TP, you're almost down an agent on defense. Mm-hmm. Like you have to basically push opposite side. So like, yeah, it's fucked.
I'm very interested. But
what do you think, Power? I was trying to get you in here a little bit more.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm really interested to see Mata specifically in Kickoff because, in my perspective, I think he is S tier at specifically space making. It's one of the most like underrated things as a duelist. Yes, you can have flashy aim. Yes, you can have whatever, right? Great movement. But space making is this weird thing that I've only seen from like one other player that like, they were just like the best at it. And that was Jog. Jog was the best space maker.
I completely agree.
Yeah, that's great.
I think everyone could say that, which is why I say I look forward to the G2 matchup because I want to see how Mata does against Jog specifically. I think that'll be an insane matchup right there off the rip. That's just like not even discussing like what we're going to see between like Trent and Verno as an example. I think that's
gonna be a banger, dude.
Exactly, it's going to be a great match. However, I'm really interested though on the effects of Tejo as Hector says, into this match because of the fact that space making might not be as important due to the fact that you have an agent where you just nuke wherever and that space is now clear.
Yep. Yeah, that space is already made. Yeah, like I've been trying to just figure out how, like, without looking at scrims and whatnot, because I'm just a freaking caster studying VODs that don't exist yet, right? But I feel that Tejo's going to be very, very, very nice in terms of stopping first wave. I think you're going to need agents to counter Tejo in a sense that you need to have different ways of stall, right? Where I see a lot of Astra, a lot of maybe Viper. Some teams want to run it for the double stall. Maybe even some Sage in there, some Deadlock or Vice, either of those Sentinels.
I am terrified.
I expect to see Vice and Deadlock paired with him.
I am terrified of Tejo only because
it's bullshit.
It's bullshit, but beyond that, I think you might see a little bit more of an Astralis level playstyle where everything is set.
Yeah,
there's no questions about how you play out the round. You have the set 100%. Util, and you just exec because of the fact that no 100%. Matter what, if they are on site, they die. No matter what.
Yeah, right. I agree.
And the worst part is that the map pool is so retake heavy right now. It is so retake heavy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm so scared in the aspect of, wow, we're about to run to Tejo, who is this agent where set execs are going to be broken, blatantly speaking. And then you have these maps where, how do you defend the site? There's nothing to play with.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. You literally cannot.
It's going to be such a crazy.
What they've done is
like.
It's going to be so crazy.
And I was playing like shits and gigs for like a couple of scrims recently with the new patch. It's just World War III in scrims. It's just World War III.
Right. And I'm telling you this now. G2 will have Tejo in their back pocket or front pocket, basically.
Everybody's going to have
against
front pocket.
NRG. No, they won't. I guarantee you NRG is not going to be able to systematically put him in. Those players are too rigid. And historically, where's the proof that they have been adaptable in the meta and, forecasting and all that stuff?
Bonker.
Okay, you say that, but remember Guild. That's just all I'm going to say. Remember Guild. Right? And then it's just like, okay, so where's the proof?
I'm remembering Leo.
I say it specifically because of OXG.
I'm remembering Leo, and now I'm sad, bro. Why'd you have to say Guild, bro?
If you really look at it, what was there? What, Neon? Like, think about what agents they were using that no one was using. They maybe were early adopters of Neon, but in Kickoff and APAC, Neon was being used, right? So you see what I'm saying? It's like I think because we like people, we're now giving them stuff that historically hasn't happened.
When OXG was playing last year, they were the first people to bring into a nuke Lotus comp, which was the double
Clove.
Yeah, Clove and Deadlock, bringing that in because I know the only
in
other
North America, but we were but Precision's team I think was the first team to run the double smokes one, which was my comp, which I gave to them actually to use, right? So it's like. Shout out Colin for actually believing in me when my own players didn't. By the way, that's actually a true story. I'm not even going to hold you on that.
Like Glorious King.
Yeah. No, but the reason I'm saying that is okay, you say that, but in North America, but I got to be honest, the first team that did that was Colin's team who beat Moist. Beat the fucking brakes off Moist. And then people see that and go, oh, that's a strong comp, let me use. Or how some people are trying to use this year, Moist's comp. You remember, I think it was Moist. They had the Lotus comp with Sage.
Yeah. What's the comp that I heard?
Or M80, sorry, M80. I'm sorry. People are running that in scrims in APAC now. I guarantee there's going to be an APAC caster who's going to be like, oh, man, they're revolutionized. Yeah. No, actually. Actually, that's some other team's comp. So I'm not, again, Power. Nothing between me and you. I'm just saying, I think sometimes we can look at this stuff with rose-colored glasses, but not realize that, they actually were, adopters of rather than creators of.
No, I actually looked at the exact comp. It was Gecko Breach, Raze, Clove, and Cypher. That was the comp.
Gecko Breach, Raze, Clove, Cypher. Yeah, that was certainly different, for sure.
I remember
that one,
I remember going against that in scrims. I was like, holy shit.
No, for sure. That one is different. When you said the Deadlock and Clove, I'm like, No. That was another team.
I was thinking about the team comp, but I just remember their Lotus. I was like, I don't think anyone else is running this.
No,
remember
definitely
looking at
that one certainly fits your criteria of like, no, they ran that first because yes,
Yeah.
absolutely, nobody was running stuff like that early on.
I'm
last year.
just envisioning like Jaw getting a free sight and like G2 not even having to use any of Tejo's abilities and then like using it for like
Dude, I don't
the
even
actual
want
retake. Like you know
Yeah.
what I mean? I'm just
Yeah.
like, oh god,
Brother.
bro. Like
Brother.
it's gonna be
Well,
like I can't wait to see G2.
G2
but you know what? Like
Yeah.
NRG might. I mean, who knows? They might be cooking, you know, and they got good players on their team. Maybe they'll be able to adapt in the middle of the game and figure something out. you
I'd
know?
really like
well, that's
to
where I
see-
think their strength lies,
Right?
for sure. It's just I think Tejo as a character
Kind of just goes
literally
against that
abuses
team.
all of their strengths. It turns their strengths against them.
Hmm.
Because they have always had historically strong anchors, good macro, great
Yeah.
rotations. The rotations don't matter if you're sitting behind a smoke, waiting for your other team to get in a position
Getting
for a
rocketed.
retake. It's
Buy an iPad kid. The iPad kid pulls out.
So insane. So insane.
I just feel bad for NRG in that respect.
Yeah.
We'll see, though. We'll see. I think they'll be fine.
I
though.
still think, because I still think that the map pool is pretty decent for energy because
Oh,
you
for
have
sure, yeah.
Lotus Haven, 3-site maps. You have Abyss and Pearl. That's probably a lot of defaulting going into that one as well. So
Actually, though, I think Lotus is a problem for them. It's been a problem for them because they sucked at it 2 years ago. And then last year, FNS wasn't really able to play
He
it.
didn't play it that much, so when he
Yeah.
got in,
So they're still probably ass at it.
Fracture
I think,
2.
right, that's...
But I will
hold on.
say-
I
no,
will
no.
say, though, FNS used to be a magician.
He
on
was the
Fracture.
god
I'm
of
saying.
Soul
That's
Fracture.
what
He
I'm
got
saying.
kinda lucky
he's
on
gonna,
that
He's
one.
going to default cook a lot of shit here on
Yeah.
for energy side. So I don't think it's like a walk in the park for G2 either in this game.
And I think Mata, Verno, and Bonker combined can bring a lot of like how they want to approach those maps
Agreed.
into it.
Oh, hell
because
yeah,
they
hell yeah.
played the entire way through.
Yeah. I think
I
even
agree.
with Jaw, that roster is not better. Like, G2 and NRG are pretty close. Like, sure, if you want to haggle with me and say one has like one slightly better, okay, yeah, fine. Whatever your opinion is, I'm not going to argue because you can make justification for both. But I think those rosters are pretty comparable.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah,
with Jaw Gemmo.
they're
I'd
both.
like to shout out Strong as well on energy.
I thought you were going to say
His
shit
coach-
talk.
No,
was like-
shout out.
To strong, hell yeah. Yeah. I think this matchup for G2 and NRG, quite honestly, is also going to be the grand finals match for Kickoff.
Oh, you think they're going to come? Damn,
It could be.
respect.
It could, like, yeah, I mean,
I think
would-
top three.
I wouldn't
Those
be
two teams are
against
definitely
it.
top
I wouldn't
three.
be against it. I think you add in a Sentinels or 100 Thieves in that mix as well,
Yep.
right? Like,
Yep. But if
Oh,
I'm going to
okay.
be a whole take to predict a bold take as my two going through to
you're
Bangkok,
gonna go
this is
G2.
I'll be
NRG.
honest.
energy. Yeah.
The only reason I think Sentinels in that respect is because they will have to play less games.
Yeah.
Because they have easy matchups,
it.
they'll be further.
That's
They'll
true.
have more to
I
study
get it.
off of.
That's
The
true, that's
advantage
true.
should go to them. But your argument is still valid that those two teams are certainly capable of going to Thailand. I mean, easy clap,
Yeah.
right, in theory, but they just run into each other, I think, too early in the gauntlet.
Yeah. And then their
Should
lower
be very
bracket games
hard.
against MIBR.
Yeah, right. Go.
It's
Here's
insane.
Ospas. Good luck, bro.
yeah, it's like you just never know, you know, because
Yeah.
he really could just win the whole series.
It's insane.
Like that's the crazy thing about that
Crazy
guy,
bracket.
right? All right,
Yeah,
and
that's
then
sick.
all right, so let's just go to the next game. We got 2G going up against FURIA, and I think we already talked about this a bit, like in the
Yeah, we did.
before we even went into bracket.
It's a
I mean,
push. I don't know. Who cares?
Dude, yeah. Quite honestly,
Wow.
I would give it
What
to
the-
FURIA. I would have given it to FURIA,
Out
but
of pocket.
with the visa issues, if they have to
I
play with
agree.
subs and shit, I might give it to 2Game this time.
2G is also
Yeah.
yeah. standing.
Oh,
Are they?
Yes, one of the players aren't 18, so they can't
Oh,
play
yeah,
for
that's true.
kickoff.
Oh
Was it
yeah,
Spike?
yeah,
Who was it?
yeah,
I
yeah,
can't
yeah,
remember.
yeah.
I remember someone was talking about it to me. They were like, "Yeah, one of the players on 2G are
I
under
think it's
18."
Spike, right?
Yeah.
So it's just gonna
Yeah.
be a shit show. But hear me
yeah, it's
out.
gonna be two standards.
But hear me out. What if FURIA picks up the contenders champions
Baby Bay?
and puts them in? No, I was never a contenders champion. I'm talking about popping, bro. I'm talking about popping in Knights or something, bro. I know
No,
Knights
that
is
would
too
be
young.
Portuguese.
I know
Yeah.
Knights is too young, but can you imagine if they got like Knights and Kane Zera and just fucking put foot in ass for the rest of the tournament? Knights and Kane Zera, the truth, first land.
End of the day, I thought that this game was going to be fairly close just because it's just two Brazilian teams that, have a bunch of players that have been grinding in that tier 2 seed for quite a while. And I'm pretty sure they met up against each other at some point. So have some idea. And it's going to be a brawl that I would have given to FURIA no matter what. But now I'm going to give it to 2G just because. But I still think whoever wins that one will lose against Leviathan.
I think FURIA.
Even with the subs.
Yeah, even with subs. I trust in the people on FURIA enough to go through.
I don't even know, but either way,
Only because of the game. I
don't even know. I think it's just gonna be a shit show.
Oh no,
shit
it
show
will be.
game for sure. I don't even know who to put. I'll just agree with you.
That's a game where you start doing drinks, start taking shots.
Yeah, right.
Take
Take a shot every time you see something crazy.
We need
to say like Hector,
we need like
to tie it up or making sure that it's still gonna be FURIA and just walk away.
We need to make a bingo sheet for drinking for that match.
He's so uninterested. He just walked off. He's like, bro, this is what this game means to me.
Discord, so I assume
all good.
He's on the edge.
He's just like
starting.
Yeah. He's just like, forget this. But yeah, so we'll speed up a little bit. I think we all agree that Leviathan are probably gonna win the next match, no matter what, right?
Julio, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's already going to grab it. But are we like everyone here, like Vans and
fair.
Power? Are we in agreement that Leviathan is probably just gonna win? Like that next match, right?
That's why I said no matter whoever wins between GG and FURIA, Leviathan's moving through.
I'm excited to see Demon 1 play again. I'm excited to see Tex play again. I'm excited to see what roles these individuals
I want to see
are going to be
King.
playing.
I want to see King and Natank. I
definitely want to see
Me? Oh, I'm really excited to see how Natank plays. Yeah,
because I remember running into him in ranked because he got to NA before around the holidays, like December 20th, somewhere around there. He started like queuing like 5-10 games a day, and I just remember running into him.
Damn. That's crazy. Yeah, he's been grinding.
Is he nice?
For sure.
He's nice.
He's really good. Yeah,
I'd say that. I don't know if he spoke English because I was on the enemy team.
Yeah, he does. I sent him a DM just to like welcome him to Americas too, and I was like, "Yo, if it ever happens that we have to interview you, do you prefer interviews in English or in French?" He's like, "Oh man, maybe because it's Americas, we'll just do English because it's."
I was unsure how much he knew at the time because he just got there, from what I understood.
Sure. Yeah, it's chill. I'm looking forward to it. I think this Leviathan's still going to be looking like a pretty strong and solid team.
Mm-hmm. Cool. I mean, I think that's it. That's it for the NA thing.
We're not going the whole way to the grand finals and continue to yap until 1 a.m.
From this side, I don't think Leviathan can take. I mean, how cool would it be if Leviathan did have to play against NRG though?
They go on a run.
And Demon 1 just went fucking crazy.
That would be kind of sick.
Well, I just don't see it happening.
He could still go crazy, but they'll still lose.
Yeah,
right. I just don't see. I mean, they could in theory with King and Demon 1, but I just don't see it.
NRG, baby.
I think no matter what, NRG or G2 are coming out of that side of the bracket in the upper finals.
Okay, so
then
wait.
They have a cakewalk. I think even if they play Sentinels, I think both those teams should be able to beat Sentinels. The problem is the run back is going to be so hard against Sentinels that have more time to prepare, easier bracket. They can save more shit.
Watch you every time.
They're probably going to have, I know they're going to have fucking Tejo the Pendejo. Like, it's chilling.
This guy.
They're chilling.
All right, this is the final comments. Closing thoughts. Vance, 2 teams that are making it out. Go.
Yeah, so NRG, G2.
All right, Frost.
I'll stick by that. Bro, what the
Size is insane.
Power.
We'll circle back. All right. Power, you go.
Moving on.
Two teams. Power, you go.
Who's going to Bangkok?
Yep.
I think for sure NRG, and I'll honestly be down to see Sentinels go from the other side.
Ooh. Respect. That's a
Frost.
Good
You
shot
ready?
too.
The other third team probably
Man,
G2.
that's tough.
For sure.
Yeah.
I
Too bad it's only
think
2 teams.
Yeah, no.
Right?
I wish there's
So
more.
it sucks. Yeah.
I think I'll just have to go with my gut and say Sentinels and then probably G2.
Damn, dude.
That
this is
sucks.
tough.
I know.
This is tough. Dude,
was like, wait,
I want
what?
all 3 to go. I want all 3 to go.
Man.
To me, it's just the day. It's just when you lose matters so much now, and I just can't. I can't shake it.
Oh, man. I think. Oh, man.
Okay, I'll give you time to think.
All the pressure's on
Can
you.
we all admit
All the
that
pressure's on
2
you.
people making this major, 3 people making the next one, and 4 making champs is kind of dumb?
Yes, it is.
What do we do? Anyways,
Well, what do you think? It should be like 6 teams each region?
I mean, I'm not saying that, but certainly it should be 3, 3, 4, right? Not 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, it's
First tournament of the year, you have only 8 teams?
Numerology, man.
That's cat,
short
bro.
season, bro. Well, like short season. Short kickoff. You tight turnaround.
So why do we have kickoffs? Didn't we talk about how stupid it was in Brazil?
To have a Masters.
Why don't we just have a season Masters like normal?
He's trying to get us fired, man.
Well,
Be careful what you say, bro.
Because if that happens, you won't be able to see those international teams until like July. You won't be able to see the Masters competition of who's the best at a region until July if you want to wait.
Stare at the camera is crazy. Crazy, I can't lie.
Right?
Okay. So let's add a new character, completely change all the off-season preparation, and then talk about, hey, competitively, we want to see the best teams in the world.
I figured it out. I'm going NRG G2. I'm going NRG G2.
You're locking it in.
I'm going NRG G2.
before Hector goes on a rant about that.
No, I'm just saying, yo. Just saying. Like, pick one. Just pick one.
Pick two.
Pick one. You're gonna
pick
more
two.
I don't need the
season
teams,
anyways.
man.
Yeah, pick
I mean,
two,
pick one.
pick
Do you want to see
three,
the best
pick
teams compete
four.
early, or do you
2,
want
3,
to actually
4
see the
for
best
us.
teams compete?
2, 3, 4.
There's gonna be another agent coming mid-season anyways.
This is
the whole meta and everything as
This
well.
is the year of 2, 3, 4s,
okay
bro.
with that.
I have a question. What's Essence picks?
Yeah, bro.
I don't play this game, man.
Let's go, Jesus.
I'm such
Anoint us.
Come on, white
I'm
Jesus.
So bad. I mean, I pay attention to Pacific as much as anything just because of talent nowadays. But I think
But just like as someone like who has no idea or anything like that, who do you
pick
guys
pick
After
two
our rant,
teams.
Pick
two teams.
I think I'm Sentinels G2 just because of the way I've seen those two names dominate from my perspective over the past couple of years. But that's a extremely amateur
Yeah, that's
take.
fair.
Respect.
No,
It's not
that's
about
fair,
amateur.
though.
It's just
But
a
that's
take.
what we wanted. We wanted
It's
that
not amateur.
take.
That's what I picked,
We
too.
wanted that take.
I know also saying that is kind of cheap. But like
No, I respect
no,
it, though.
no,
Your
you don't
logic
gotta-
is sound, bro.
for people who don't know, I've been
It was sound,
although
though.
I'm mostly a content guy. I was on his 100 Thieves coaching staff, so I ended up closer to the game than I ever thought I was going to be. And even since then, I think I'm correct in saying both those names have been that dominant
Consistent.
despite roster
Yeah.
since then. So, there's a lot that's changed since then, but that has been a constant for me. So more than you
For
asked,
sure.
but those are my 2 cents.
For sure.
Gotcha.
Respect.
All right. All right, well, thank you. Thank you both for joining Spike Talk episode 30. If you guys
for
got
having
any
us, man.
socials or
It's fun.
anything you guys want to
Anytime.
plug down below, anything cool you're doing, go ahead and do it now.
Go ahead, Power.
Not
This was awesome.
up to anything too special, so go ahead and move on.
Yeah, me neither. Just keep following Spike Talk. Give us a subscribe to Spike Talk, and I'll catch you guys at VCTs. I got
Don't
nothing
forget
going
to
on.
drop a comment and a like and et cetera. And, hopefully we can get around to answering some questions, which we never do. But goddamn, we're going to fucking do it one day.
Dude,
we're
that
going
should
to
be
do
the-
it one day.
First thing you do in the next episode.
Yeah.
Like we had a bunch of good early ones, and then the conversation hasn't been quite as engaging since then, and then like stuff has been changing too.
What
quick,
about
so it's
live?
just-
What about
gonna do
live
it. We're gonna
questions?
do
I
it.
forget. I saw some show do
Live
that, and I
questions,
was
something
like,
like
"Oh,
that.
that's interesting."
We do it on
do it
NRG
live on YouTube.
Podcast. That's where we do it.
Right,
we do it
right,
on
right.
NRG
That's what I saw.
Podcast.
Yeah,
We should do
yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of live shit we want to do. It's just trying to we're working with 3 different time zones most of the time when we have a guest. So
Yeah,
like
it's
trying
tough.
to make it all
Also,
work
big
is
fan
rough,
of the
so.
NRG podcast. That's actually really well done.
Dude, yeah.
I think we have
man.
the personality here at Talent to do a good one also.
I know. Get
But
me
we
over
just
there, bro.
don't do it. No
Get
one
me
does it
over
with
there.
You guys.
I'll
It's
do it.
fucking good.
I'll do it, bro.
They do
Find me out,
Flight
I'll
Club,
do it.
but just not often enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched last episode.
yeah.
It was actually pretty fun. It's just Ethan's a
Yeah.
little quiet, but I guess because Shanks was supposed to be going there, not Ethan. But
Yeah, yeah. You
No,
know,
but
how,
he's-
you know how
he's-
pro,
he's
you know how
quiet.
pro
That's
players
just how
are
he is,
though.
yeah.
Like with content, pro players with
Ethan
content.
just frags. We usually
Come
just
on.
fragger, man. Get me in a server, fucking shoot some heads. and
Ethan's
get a
faces are
paycheck.
funny. Like you can tell when he's giving you a politically correct answer and what he
Yeah.
really thinks. But he can't hide his face. There was 2 episodes ago. I'm not gonna say the moment, but I knew what the real was.
It's so
and
funny,
His
bro.
face gave it away immediately. I was like,
so
"Oh, this
funny
is
that
some
you say
bullshit
that.
answer." I
'Cause
got
you're
it,
right. 'Cause you're
That's-
actually
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not gonna lie. Ethan reminds me a lot of you, Frost, for some reason. Like in terms of like he's real though. Like he's real.
Yeah.
Like he'll tell you how it is, and that's what I appreciate about him. And he's just a cool, genuine. But yeah, all right.
Shout out to
hopefully
Kelly.
we can have you both back. Power. I didn't expect you to know
I love
so
it.
many things about Val. I was like,
Yeah, that was sick.
Powers.
you put me on so much
the
game.
Silva
Like I
main,
couldn't
bro.
even believe
Trust.
it.
Yeah.
I got put on so much game in the scene and even just like, behind the scenes. I was like, wow.
Yeah, even the black market part of the scene, bro. That's crazy, bro.
Yeah, yo, what the what?
More heads up next
all-knowing.
time. Appreciate him pulling up last
Yeah.
minute.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
All right.
they're great. I know Jovi loves him. So I obviously had to,
awesome. All
get
right.
him on.
All right. That's
Power's
it.
real.